I am William Guild.
I'm Caroline.
Hi, I'm Catherine.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Guild.
Hi, I'm Mary. Hello, my name is Christy Mary Guild.
Well, we had Catherine and Jason move back in with Teddy in November, and Christy and Mary moved back in for lockdown, really.
I remember the first weekend that we were all in the living room, and I don't know if we were watching a film, but it was good just having a drink in the living room and laughing.
Came home from a slipped out of my shoes. Then from the front, I heard a jump. I looked in, and here's what I saw.
I am 57 years of age. I'm a retired policeman. I have 5 daughters, 1 granddaughter. I'm married to Caroline Guild.
I'm married to William and mother to Catherine, Elizabeth, Flora, Mary and Christy.
I lived with my mum and dad, and I had 3 older sisters who, I was a late child, they were a bit older than me, so by the time I was into my teenage years, 2 of my sisters were married and moved out of the house, and 1 sister still stayed in the house. Well, they were older, so I was always the baby of the family. So they would say I was spoilt, but if you're spoilt, you don't notice you're spoilt, really, do you? So, but they would definitely say I was spoilt, but I was the baby brother. So we had Catherine first. Your first child is obviously quite not traumatic, but you want to do everything perfectly. You read all the books about babies and you try and do everything perfectly. And then you have your second child, who's Elizabeth, and then you're a bit more relaxed because you're a bit more comfortable with how things go, and, you know, childhood illnesses, not everything is kind of like major, you're a bit more chilled. And then we had Flora, Mary and Christy, our 3rd, 4th and 5th child, and that they were a set of triplets, so that was certainly unexpected and really rewarding.
Although we were just a family of 4, Grandma had a lot of sisters and brothers, so I had a lot of cousins. So there was always, family life was always buzzing. We were always up at Nana's, always visiting aunts and uncles. So it was good. Family was close. And then when I met your dad's sisters were all married and away, and they had their own children. So again, you know, your dad was used to big families, and we were used to big families, but we thought having 2 was fine. And then we decided to have, let's try for another. And then 3 came along.
Your mum's going to have a baby. Just find out. Hey, so you're going to have another baby sister or brother?
I'm having a baby.
What?
I'm going to be having a baby.
Honestly? Oh, because Catherine was sick last night. Well, no, you got to be sick lots and lots of times, like Mummy's been.
Well, when I was lost brother, I was, well, one thing I was sick, I was sick.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have been.
But you know when Mummy and Daddy found out,
When?
both of you were asking if I was pregnant, if I was going to have a baby, if I had a baby in my tummy. But it was too early to tell you.
Okay. So.
Oh, baby boy.
On the whole, it was a good relationship, happy relationship, and yeah, and I think actually, I suppose the one thing I would say, because I had 5 daughters, you never had enough time to spend with each one individually. So you know, maybe that was something that, well, it's just a fact of life. That's just how it was. So we just got on with it, and you make the best of it. And I think we did make the best of it. There was challenging times, definitely, but Caroline was the mainstay because I worked full time. So Caroline took the brunt of it and she was amazing. So she was a great mum and I was a kind of working dad. So I suppose I got off lightly because Caroline kind of managed everything and she was brilliant at it, so it was good.
Having the 4 daughters in the house could be, yeah, there was a lot of mood swings. Your poor dad. Well, your dad was up and out and then he would probably be coming back late just with his job. But the good thing was he never brought his job home. Once your dad was in the house, he was dad.
One of the things we always did as a family really is we always had our evening meal together and we were always talking round the table, and because there was 7 of us round the table, nobody, it was just dynamic, it was just the dynamic.
Elizabeth came along, Catherine was a bit older, and then when you came along, it was like, okay, it was a shock that there was 3 of you, a whole life had to change. But we knew that the stages that there's light at the end of the tunnel, because we knew having your big sisters, there's stages. We were conscious that although you needed all our time, so did Catherine and Elizabeth. So your grandma and granda just being round the corner would come round and, or help out, or we would take Catherine and Elizabeth away for the weekend so that we could just have quality time.
Because I was the oldest, I really enjoyed being part of a big family. Like, everyone was quite close, like we always got to play with each other, but there was also like challenges, like whenever we went out for dinner, trying to find a table that was big enough for all of us, because there was 7 of us in total, so that was quite hard. So they're the sort of things I remember, but it was always really fun. When you were like 12, 13, that was like when we were like our least close. Like, we were close when you were younger and we're all very close now, but that like phase was like the hardest part for us getting along. And I think it was because like you got away with a lot more than I did. So like when I'd come home and see like you's out with your friends and whatever and getting things that me and Elizabeth maybe never got, like it was kind of like, why are they getting let away with that?
I always thought it was quite fun, a bit of a riot, a bit messy. There's so many bodies, but fun. It was exciting. I remember getting 3 little sisters. I was so cheating. We used to like play with babies and stuff, and then you came along, we could be like, oh, these are ours.
I think we were in quite our own little bubble. Like, they were older, we were younger. That was like, that was just that. But then as we got older, there isn't that much of a difference.
Us 3 kind of were a unit, like in comparison to everyone else in our family, because it was kind of like us 3 were like each other's like bodyguards. I think we are still very protective of each other. I don't think that's ever changed. I think we've eased up a little bit because I think we realise that it's not just like us 3 like looking out for each other. Like, we're closer with everyone as well. Like, I'm not saying that we weren't close with them before, but like as we're getting older, we're getting closer with like, well, I think it's already happened, but we're a lot closer with like Catherine and Elizabeth.
Well, I think the dynamics before we came into COVID, well, we had Catherine and Jason move back in with Teddy in November. I think it was quite stressful for Catherine and Jason because they were obviously at that point trying to sell their house. They had bought a new house, so I think that was quite challenging for them.
I think that was the hardest point because like when we were waiting before, it was like, we're moving into the house, like it's exciting, buying stuff, and then when lockdown happened, it was kind of like, are we going to be able to move? And it wasn't something that we could control, so it was a little bit difficult.
Probably more than us, but it worked out pretty good, I think. So it was quite good fun at times. It was, it worked out pretty well. And then Catherine and Jason just managed to move into their new house when lockdown happened, and Christy and Mary moved back in.
I quite liked it. I like just like having other, but then I don't know if I'm saying this just because me and Christy it was just us 2 in the flat when it was the start of lockdown for like a month. So when I came back here, it was someone new to talk to, and Christy was annoying. So that was nice. Easier to get into a routine here because you've got other people doing whatever they're doing, so then you kind of force yourself into making one. When I was at the flat, I could just wake up, sit about for a bit, and then like wait for the day to end.
It was good. Mary had been out the house for uni for, a couple of years. So she had been independent, and Christy then moved into the flat. And by the time they got back, well, they were cooking meals. They had sort of settled, and they'd got past that moody teenager.
So sometimes I've got to try and remind myself that you are adults, and you have your own minds, and I'm not necessarily responsible for now. You can go and make your own decisions, and you've got your own lives to lead.
That was quite nice. It was like a nice transition from going from me and Kim back to just the four of us. Like, that was quite nice.
Moving in with yous for that time, like we enjoy each other's company more.
Within lockdown, we're like wanting to do more activities with each other. Like even like going for runs or something. Yeah. Like we do that together.
It was nice to like come home and like I suppose like we're never gonna have a point in our lives again, really, where like we are like gonna like fingers crossed, that we're gonna move back home and it be how it was, and like being able to just kind of spend time with each other.
And then before you know it, they're out, and you think, time just flies, but that time we'll never get back.
It's life, yeah, and it was our life, and it's pretty good.